different, so just bear with me. All right, so we all, for the most part, know who we are, right? We know where we grew up, our ethnicity, our likes and our dislikes, all components of our identity. And without these pieces specifically put into place, making us all vastly different individuals, we would lose something so extremely crucial to our lives: connection. The fabric of our society, the fabric of our life consists of this. And without the uniqueness of every individual, living would be almost two-dimensional. It would be flat and lacking those who bring variety to our lives, our communities, and our world. However, life is not this way, and every day people are sowing new ideas and positivity into our society. So one man I have grown up to believe did just this, a man of internal strength, intellect, but also a common man with just a basic understanding on human needs and rights, Martin Luther King had recognized that life was not as it should be. Connection was not being made. Now clearly, racial tension was high leading up to and during the civil rights movement. However, I'm not here to give a speech about that crucial point in history. Firstly, because I think the I Have a Dream speech may have done that job for me. But secondly, and mostly, because I think there is another lesson that can be learned here. So Dr. King's ability to go out and lead the way that he did first required a recognition of his identity, of his worth, which was especially important during a time that was revolving around telling him the exact opposite. So after making these revelations about himself, about his true self-worth, he would ultimately be able to open the eyes of others to recognize this as well. So Dr. King, as most of you may know, led marches, wrote speeches, organized committees, but before all of this, he had to ask himself 4 basic questions about the world around him. Now, I imagine Dr. King maybe sitting in his home with kids tucked into bed, pondering the treatment of those with skin like his. Was it true that a group of people could be so mistreated based upon uncontrollable factors, factors that lie literally skin deep? Unfortunately, his response to this question, as I'm sure we can all agree with, was yes. The mistreatment of African Americans was very true and very real. So he then may have scooted a little further out of his seat this time, with maybe disappointment or sadness in his eyes, but softly speaks under his breath, "Is this fair?" No. He, along with many others, both black and white, knew this. Dr. King this time may have stood up and paced around the carpet a bit, or maybe it was tile, and asked himself if all of this inequality was bettering any relationships, bringing anyone goodwill. No. The answer was no. So finally, with a heart full of love and strength, Dr. King asks himself one last question. Will it be beneficial to all, to my family, to my friends, to my neighbors, to my country, to the lives of all of these individuals to no longer sit, but to stand tall and proud, proclaiming truth, fairness, goodwill, in all things to benefit those around me? And the answer, as we can now attest to, was yes. So without this initial confidence in his own identity and belief in his importance, he may have never been capable of reaching a point where he could ask himself these 4 questions. And not just recognize the answers, but act upon them. Martin Luther King once said, "Judge a man not by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character." This highlights the importance of one's persona. The persona is so crucial because once someone recognizes it and truly accepts it, then and only then will they be capable of building genuine connections. Connections ultimately bringing fulfillment in life and potentially in the lives of others. Now, I want to challenge each of you to find the time to reflect and to truly think and ponder all of the things that make you up to be the person that you are today, the components, big and little, that have shaped your identity. Because it may just open up the doors to an opportunity that was once a dream. Thank you.